Irish Media Network. We entertain.
Hello, it's the Magician and you're watching About Last Night.
Hello and welcome to another episode of About Last Night. I am here in Opium and I'll be chatting to the Magician. Our Belfast boys will be chatting to Craigie Knows, but let's hand it over to Joe, our West Coast team, who will be chatting to Cherym.
Thanks a million, Soraya. Obviously, I'm sure the Magician's going to do a fantastic job in Opium tonight, but tonight I'm down the Roisín Dubh, which I'm pretty confident is going to be better than that, because if this band's Facebook page is anything to go by, it's not going to be the big gig of the week. It's not going to be the gig of the year. It's going to be the best gig of my life. Am I right, ladies?
Woohoo! Yes.
We're ladies from Cherym. Thanks a million for sitting down and chatting to us. Coming off the back of a very, very big year for you. So you dropped your first single, Take It Back, in March of last year. The Mouth Breathers EP came out in May. You were nominated for not one but two NI Music Awards in September, including Best Single. Massive year. Congratulations.
Thank you very
much. Are you buzzing off it still?
Yes, definitely. It was a real experience.
Whirlwind.
Crazy.
I kind of wonder, like, obviously you started off in kind of December 2016, so this is the coming to fruition of a lot of hard work. Do you sit down at the start of the year and kind of pick, we'll say, milestones you want to achieve or goals that you want to kind of get through in the year, or is it more spontaneous?
Well, definitely this year in general has been quite spontaneous. I think it was something we always kind of talked about. We knew that we had to release some music and get it out there and stuff, and that we had to do a lot of gigs and travel a long way away. So yeah, it's definitely just been a bit kind of random, and just deciding to randomly kind of drop an EP and see how it went. We didn't think it would do half as well as what it did. So it was great that people enjoyed it.
Pleasantly surprised?
Definitely, 100%. Definitely, yep.
Are there any, we'll say, highlights you could pick out, like moments that you'd go back and pinch yourself back?
We played that Goodbye Mandela Hall, and it was like really lovely. Like, we played, and then at the end of the show we went down to the green room and sat and had a drink, and so I watched from afar.
Nice.
And it was lovely.
That's great.
Jeez, they are moments that you look back and you're like, fuck me, that was so good so early as well. Speaking of which, you've just released your new single, Strong Queens, or sorry, Super Queens rather, Strong Queens. Strong Queens.
Yeah.
So it's come out. It came out the 30th of January, which is someone's birthday, I believe.
It was my birthday. So it just dropped on Spotify and all the other streaming platforms yesterday. So yeah, it's very exciting, and it was recorded by the amazing Keelan Austin in Small Town America studio in Derry.
Great place to work and record.
Fantastic place to work and record. Would recommend.
Perfect. So you actually performed that as well on the other Irish Media Network show, 22 Live. So any viewers at home, if you want to check out the full performance, subscribe to the Irish Media Network YouTube channel. It's episode 3 of 22 Live. There's both the full performance of that and Bottoms Up, so please check that out. You also played some Savage festivals last year, the Foyle Pride Festival, Swell, a number of others. Is there anything coming up this year that you have booked in that you'd like to tell us about, that you're really excited about?
Yeah, well, we're doing Stendhal Festival again this year, this time on a different stage, so it should be good. Really excited to see kind of how it goes and stuff. And we are doing Knockin' this year as well, so it's going to be really good. Looking forward to it. We've never played there before, so exciting.
Very exciting times. You also did a good bit of touring of Scotland last year. You were in Dundee. How would you compare, we'll say, the scene and the crowds and things like that compared to over here? Did they embrace you? Did they make you feel like one of their own, like a Scottish band almost?
Yeah, they definitely do. That was our second time playing at Book Festival in Dundee. And they're just so lovely. There's definitely a great live music scene down there, especially for, like, you know, punk and kind of alternative music. So it was really good. We fit right on. It was like, you know, just everybody was really in it, and it was really good fun. Really, really good fun.
Derry, what about yourselves? Is there any kind of big festivals coming up this year that you'd love to play, or any venues even that you'd love to kind of like take it to the next level?
So
No?
maybe O2.
So obviously, look, you're back in the Roisín Dubh. You played here once before, am I right?
We did.
Looking forward to the Galway crowd now that I suppose you have more material out as well.
Yes, definitely. The first time we played here, we played with Dot, and now we're playing with Dot again.
Excellent.
So yeah, they're really good friends of ours. This is the first time that we've been in this upstairs venue. Okay. So
what's Roisín like as a venue to play?
Oh, it's lovely. It's really nice, really nice. Everybody's really friendly. Great.
College town, really good atmosphere, really good crowd.
Oh, love it. Yeah. Yeah.
So obviously, look, the show's going live on Monday evening. So for anyone out there at home who wants to catch you in the next couple of weeks, where are you going to be, where we can see?
Okay, so the 22nd of this month, we are going to be in Fibber McGee's with Sugar Wolf, who are another Derry band. Really, really good. Formerly Making Monsters. I don't know if you've heard of them. Really good, extraordinary metal band. You know, who we kind of looked up to and stuff whenever we were trying to kind of find influence at starting out. So yeah, it's going to be really good. Can't wait.
Come here, thanks so much for taking the time. I honestly can't wait for the gig this evening. I'm sure the social media hype will certainly live up to it. It will be the best gig of my life. I'm sticking around here for that, but we're going to send it on over to Belfast now. We're at the Speakeasy, and he's chatting to the boys from Craigie Knows. So stick around for that, folks.
Thanks, Joe. I'm here with Max and Mitch, the guys behind the Craigie Knows label, Glasgow based, ahead of their gig with Corova and Strag tonight, the Speakeasy. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. Excited to be in Belfast for the first time as a parent.
Yeah, well, we've not been in Belfast together before, so yeah, it's good. It's good.
So, Craigie Knows, it's the name of the road, isn't it? The row of houses was built on. I believe it was Max. You were living there. You live in the corner. I've done my research.
Yeah. You done an interview.
Yeah. I've read them all. But yeah. So like, how did you guys like sort of meet? Was it the typical swollen?
No,
Buckfast
we
around the
basically went to like different primary schools
Cool.
together, and before you went into first year, you went on like a big school trip.
That's fucking.
And we used to kick fuck at each other from like the ages of about 6 until 10, maybe 11, 12. There used to be like at the local swimming pool, there'd be a disco every Saturday. So we used to go and like rival schools would fight with each other. So we met each other.
After you go to swim disco and be like, yeah, and then you just.
Yeah, generally after I'd either find me in a headlock or Max in a headlock beating each other up, and then there was a truth called in Belgium somewhere on the school, on a school trip where it was like, if we stop beating the shit out of each other, we can raise hell together.
Join forces.
So it was like an actual truth call.
Yeah. So
it got that bad.
Yeah.
No,
so
not between me and him personally. To be fair, that story's embellished slightly. I think it was at one of those ones where there was a fight, because there was fights there all the time. I think it was only there once, but there was fights, these things as kids all the time. But you had to go on this school trip, as he said, to go. It was Holland, Belgium, and Germany together, and we realised that the arseholes from each primary school, instead of being pitted against one another, if you joined forces, you could be a bigger problem to the people who are trying to put you on an amazing school trip.
That's a statement that relates to most revolutions today.
Then we went to high school together and we just got on well.
How did that escalate into like running a label and stuff together?
We had a friend who had like a MIDI controller. He got it bought for his 16th birthday, so he didn't actually. Yeah, thank you, Calamash. So we kind of stole it from him, and then we used to put on parties at this. There was a pub at the end of my parents' street called the Malt House, and it was always like, it'd been open for about 20 years, but it was always like reasonably quiet.
Oh, it was an old man's pub.
So
it's the only place that was stupid enough to let people who probably weren't old enough to drink put on an event at it.
We started by going. If we had like a free period at high school, we'd go and have scampi and chips and a pint in our like school uniform. The guy used to serve us. So then he was like, "What? Like, do you want to start a night?" So we're like, "Yeah, fuck it. Like, why not?" So we started doing like house nights. So ended up being, Perth only got about 40,000 people in it, and we ended up with 400 people. All generally, most of them underage, on a Thursday night. Yeah. And there used to be like a tiny DJ booth where you could only fit 1.5 people in, and
the speakers was like, fuck knows what they had done to the speakers, but like when the speakers were on for a few hours, like they would start to smell of fish. So the speakers, like the drivers in them or something was going on with them, where it was like after a while the place would start smelling really weird, and that was because these old like fucking crusty speakers had like got too hot and it would like stink out, but there was still hundreds of people there getting wrecked.
And it got to this stage where old men had come for their like Thursday pint, walk in and get hit by lasers and like smoke machines and stuff, and then they'd just like back off slowly out the pub. But there was still, maybe for like about 2 years, every Thursday night there was about 400 or 500 people in there, and that's how it kind of escalated.
400 or 500 is a bit over the top.
Into like something that actually became noticeable in the town. So then after that, the guy actually moved away and bought a house in Australia from all the money that we'd made him.
Yeah,
and
that is
so
true.
that's how we made. We ended up doing nights in Perth, and then Max started Made Fresh Daily, which was another offshoot.
But
of the label.
around about the age of 18, I ended up like met through my friend Asher, the guy that we spoke about a minute ago. He put me into one night. There was at Sub Club. He had met guys for uni and stuff that were on a Wednesday night at Sub Club, and Duncan Steele, Ian Budge, Troy Thompson. They had started a Wednesday night student night. And they didn't know that much about things either, and neither did we, to be honest. And they had somebody drop out, and then my mate Asher phoned me on. I worked at TK Maxx in the stockroom, right, and got a phone call for the thing, and Asher had like pretended to be a family member or something, and got on the phone to me. He was like, "Do you want to come play Sub Club tonight?" I was like, "What?" Like, of course. And then went and played, and then got invited back, and I've played every week at Sub Club for nearly 5 years, and so I kind of had that thing. But me and Mitch still did our own things together, and that went on, and life went on, and then I ended up starting Craigie Knows, as we call it, but everyone else in the world calls it Craigie Knows. So now I call it Craigie Knows because everyone else does it, and I started
it's just easier that way.
Easier that way, man. Just go with the flow.
Yeah, it's like, well, I mean, like it's escalated now to like one of the best dance music labels in the UK, if not Europe. You know, so like, do you have?
It's just
you're being humble.
But you'd rather like stick to the stuff that you like rather than, because a lot of the stuff it gets kind of put in that generic folder today of people just trying to do stuff that'll actually, because I think a lot of like up and comers, probably like ourselves, they'll try and make a career out of it, whereas we would be doing it if we weren't like getting gigs or whatever. You just do it as a hobby because it's the stuff that you love doing. So I think you're better sticking to your guns in that sense.
And the thing is, people, like when you said like one of the best going about, but that's only based on a label that's still in its infancy. Like we are only a few years old, and I don't like to ever be put even in the same sentence as a lot of the other labels that we look up to, people we call our friends or whatever that have been doing it for longer, and even people that have not been doing it for as long that are doing things that are way better than what we're doing. But it's nice for people like yourself or other people to put in that bracket, but with no means in my head that we are on that level, because otherwise I would feel uninspired, and that's the opposite. I feel really inspired about all other things that other people are doing, and to me that means that I'm not, if you're the leader of the sound of things, which we're not. But it's nice that some people put us in that bracket at times. But I personally don't believe that.
But if you're gonna, the thing is, people pigeonhole us all the time, because when the Baltry EP came out, it was like Craigie Knows lo-fi label. Then No Moon does an EP.
The lo-fi thing was incredibly annoying.
But then
we did one. There was one or two tracks that could have been put in that bracket. But then you get called that, and then like because electro's a thing at the minute, and we release some electro records, people like when they send demos or whatever, and people or magazines or whatever, they'll go, oh, like electro label, and I'm like, well, if you actually fucking look at the back catalogue, there is a lot of electro stuff, and there was a lot of things. We still release like fucking house records, ambient stuff.
There's like a deep house record coming out, but
like John, But
there's a John Daly record coming out, which wouldn't be classed as electro or lo-fi.
John Daly's fucking sick as well.
Yeah, he's class, man.
It's old house guy, and then there's just do whatever I feel fit. If I like it and I play it, or I would listen to it and enjoy it, then it goes out, and that's it.
You've some plans for 2 sub-labels, I believe. See No Evil's coming out with everything Texas touches at the minute just seems to be absolute fucking gold. How excited are you for it coming out? And can you give any information on the other sub-label as well?
Yeah, I can. I'll See No Evil is like, we're doing it with my friend Adam. He's a unbelievable like artist. I'm talking about like designing. You can pan over and look at graffiti stuff. This guy is the next level. Like, no, this is not him, but I mean, like the stuff that he does. Like, he's always been an inspiration to me. He's a boy from Dundee, Adam, and it was kind of based on the thing that me and him always wanted to work together. And I've always looked up to what he does and the way he does things and his art and stuff. And I thought there needs to be something that we can do to work something together. And then I kind of wanted to start a sub-label of like Craigie Knows. I wanted to do something different. So like the idea was to do like a 10-inch label with like harder stuff, darker stuff. And the 2 tracks that Texie's putting out on the first release were actually sent with the demos in the pack of demos that he sent me when we did the first EP, Dallas Gun Club one, which was like hardcore and like one electro track.
Yeah, that piano edit.
Yeah, on a manic piano track and that, which was unreal.
Yeah.
But the 2 tracks that are going on that were on, and they were being signed to other labels, and then it didn't work out, and there was other this and that went with it, and it turned out they both came up free, and they were 2 of my favourites. And I thought, this is the opportunity to do this 10-inch thing and get my mate Adam, well, he's also known as Rackham, like, and do the artwork, do a 10-inch thing, do like a vinyl only release and do that, and do some stuff that was like harder, darker, faster.
There's another one from Maelstrom
doing
coming
another
out
one
after as well.
Maelstrom after,
which is
like
equally as fast and rapid.
With like Maelstrom's like been involved with all the old school guys, like won't even delve into that. Like he was somebody I knew from way back, and then like got demos from him, and I was like, no way, like this stuff is way harder and darker if you want to keep using the stupid terms. But they fitted now that I had the See No Evil thing set up. That it fitted perfectly that, so we're going to do one with him. And so that's one of the sub-labels. Another sub-label, Wormhole Wisdom, which is really, it's set up with my friend George, well, our friend George, and parts unknown. He's like, his knowledge of like old school house, techno, electro, but any genre really, and DJ wise, like he's a guy that I've looked up to. There's a lot of good DJs in Glasgow. Like I don't see myself anywhere in the realm of being as good a DJ as those guys, and they're the guys that a lot of them are unsung, and a lot of them don't want they're not that arsed for being sung about, but their knowledge and how good they are as DJs, and I know it's biased and whatever, but really when I go anywhere else in the world and I see anyone else, I think those guys are their next level, and George was one of them that was always at the forefront. Yeah. Same with Joe Novitsky as well, that I used to DJ with Subclub. Like those guys are like inspirational to me, and then with the sub label was me and George kind of were speaking about reissuing rare techno records, and I know there's already too many labels in the world that do that, and everyone's kind of like leave the past behind and stop fucking record collections up by reissuing everything. Some things should be left in the past. But there's a couple of things and we were like, you know what, let's just do it. Yeah. So we finally got an EP signed in it by an artist from England who did, he's quite famous now. We're not going to give too much away, but he did stuff back like 90s, early 2000s. It was amazing. And there was an EP that just kind of got left behind. There was a lot of people did want it, like a reissue. The original masters weren't that great, and we've managed to do what we can to get it together, remaster it all, and finally that's what's starting out, and it's just been pressed now. So Wormhole Wisdom was what is going to be a new label, and it's based only on reissuing just old techno records.
Well, very much looking forward to it. Thank you so much for showing me today. Really looking forward to the set later. Really excited. We're going to head over to Opium Club now, where Sarai is talking to a guy who might just have a wee trick up his sleeve.
Thanks a million, Andrew. I'm here with the magician. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, thank you very much. So, we were meant to catch up with you a couple of months ago in Cork at Houseworks Festival. You were on the lineup with Felix the Housecat, Jack Jones, but tonight you're headlining here in Opium in Dublin. What do you think of our Irish crowd?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just arrived actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, like to be in a restaurant.
Yes.
First before going. Is it downstairs? Like that?
No,
I haven't seen the.
You haven't seen it yet.
No,
okay,
no.
So it's beautiful.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Sorry, I should have doing this. It's beautiful upstairs. So restaurant here, nightclub upstairs, and then they have like a garden outside. So it's a very nice venue.
Beautiful. So I just arrived, so I'm sorry, I haven't seen the club yet.
That's no problem. But the Irish crowd are pretty good to play to, so you're gonna have a great night.
Cool. I'm very excited.
Good. So, so you played with some of the biggest festivals, been on headlined some of the biggest gigs. You played with some great DJs. Do you have any highlights or any DJs that you loved playing with?
Yeah, some highlights in Ireland.
Ireland, all over the world.
I would say it's always good in Ireland.
Yeah,
like
okay.
I have no bad memory.
Okay, good.
I have a great memory at Coachella.
Okay.
Yeah, that was amazing. Also in Japan, the first time I've been, that was incredible.
What's Japan like?
Crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
Sushi.
The sushi. What does the crowd like
Big
to
fan
play
of
to,
sushi.
though?
No, honestly, people are just mad.
Yeah.
They know, even if you play like something they don't know, they know it.
Yeah,
they know
of course.
absolutely everything.
Okay.
So that's a bit crazy. So yeah, they jump everywhere. They're just so excited to see you. And
Yeah.
it's very special. But I love also the country and the food and the culture. So
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Of course. So you've been on top of our summer charts. The likes of what we had was your Licky Lee's remix.
Yeah.
Over 1 million streams. Did you think that was going to be such a huge international success?
not at all, to be honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I had a really shit deal about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So I didn't know. Actually, it was my first piece of music I did as the magician.
Yes.
So I made this remix in my bedroom. I mean, my room with just plugins and stuff, and it became huge. Like it was really unexpected. Really unexpected. Yeah. Super. Yeah. Real. It's real. And yeah, I mean, I think that time I was a bit down after the split with Aeroplane, because I was part of Aeroplane. So I was I was a bit down and stuff, and probably, you know, when you are really deep down, you make some great things. Usually,
you find something a little bit different in you.
In me, like there was something, and this happened. I'm super happy this happened because it wasn't expected. So
of course. Now you have signed with Sony Music, but you have your own label as well. Are you still with Sony, or are you still kind of working on your own label too?
The Magician is signed to Sony for a license deal, and Potion is on the side. So I still release stuff on Potion, but from other people, on other artists.
Okay.
So both are going on. I've got a new release on Potion at the moment from Aston Shuffle and Fabish, and a new one is coming out next week. So this year is going to be busy on Potion.
Brilliant.
And for The Magician, I've got a new single coming out on March 8th.
Okay.
So in a month.
Lovely.
Yeah, exactly in a month actually.
Yeah.
With a singer.
Okay. Tell us more.
A female.
Oh, lovely. Keep going.
For the first time since Licky Lee, which was a remix, but as a single.
Okay.
So it's gonna be from. I'm gonna play it tonight. It's very poppy. It's it's dance music.
Yeah.
Because last year I was a little bit down to urban pop music, so I'm back with a really crossover dance music with the piano and stuff. So it's very uplifting house music.
Yes, I like that.
Okay, yeah.
So, also tell me a little about your magic tapes that you do. From releasing, tracks and stuff. You're still doing this. Like you're on 70, 80,
87 next week.
87.
I didn't announce it yet, but it's gonna be 87.
87. Wow, that's a lot of time and a lot of music. How did you start doing something like that?
Actually, I've started my career when I was young doing mixtapes before producing, before anything else.
Okay.
So I'm used to do that. So the first thing I really love is DJing. So it's mix two tracks together and find a way to mix them without hearing any transition.
Okay.
So that's that's what I really like. So finding the right key, and the right BPM and stuff. So I love to do that. And I kept that for along the years, during the years. And then when I started The Magician, I needed a new name to do that. So I called them Magic Tape, which is obvious, a little bit obvious. And we are 86. And the process is about trying to have exclusivities.
Yes.
So track not yet released.
Yes.
Or just track just unreleased as well, but it's more and more difficult. But and I've got a tastemaker role in a way, but the cool thing, I mean, I find that cool, but people doesn't find that cool because I don't give the track lists.
Okay. Because they want to know the tune.
They want to know, but no, there is Shazam and stuff, but obviously when the track is not released or not on Shazam, it's hard to find.
Yes.
But I find that really cool because when you really want something you don't have, you really love it.
Sorry, the crowd are already starting to get going for you, I think. Sorry about that.
So when you try to get something you don't have, you really love it.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
you really
Special.
you want to have it. When you have it, okay, you have it, but then you throw it. But when you don't have it, you are mad about it. I want to get it.
That's true.
So when you don't know what it is, you play it again and again and again and
I
again.
like that. That's sneaky.
It's very sneaky, and also because I play that a magician never reveals his tricks.
Of course he doesn't.
So we played a little bit with that as well, and also I always ask the permission to the artist
Yes.
to use the track.
Yes.
Or the
Very
label
important.
was very important as
Yeah.
well. So they obviously know about that,
Yeah.
and they are absolutely fine for me to do not give the track list, because they also try to find a premiere, or like a proper premiere with the name and title on radio, like BBC Radio 1, for example.
Are artists quite willing to give you those tracks and let you have those tracks to mix them and
to
stuff?
just get the hype, you know,
Okay.
just
To
get
give
like a
the
taster,
taster.
the taste maker.
Yeah. Perfect. So, what's the plans? As you said, it's going to be a busy next couple of months for you. Are you going to have a couple of lineups or any festivals yet that you can tell us about?
To be honest with you,
Yeah.
the past 2 months I've been a lot in the studio.
Okay.
So I was a little bit in a cavern, in a
Okay.
cave.
Okay, so you're not
So
not
very like close.
Okay.
So I'm just out of it, and obviously doing music. So I'm not like, but
There will be stuff
so my
lined up.
management took care of that.
Perfect.
I know I'm going to America
Okay, so
in March,
American
in
tour.
June, in Ireland, of course. Like, I don't know why I'm going too much. Like, it's like I love it, but it's like crazy.
Here in Ireland.
What happened?
I don't know. I think we just love you though, so that's okay.
I don't know why. I always like I ask myself about that, and I was like, maybe because Shy, you know, my single Shy, Brighton Bowman,
Yes.
is Irish,
Yeah. Okay. So that's.
but from America. But maybe he has an Irish accent. And maybe that's why people like it, you know. I just asking myself what happened, you know.
You're just charming. I think that's what it is. The
Because I'm Belgian, maybe, and not British or French. So we have that little things that,
Of course.
like Irish and Belgian are pretty close, I think.
I think so too.
Because the UK and France, they're fighting together, and the Irish and the Belgian are cool, you know, around.
100%.
I think it's true.
Thank you very much. Well, that's it for another episode of About Last Night. Don't forget to subscribe to Irish Media Network and to follow all of our social media channels for About Last Night. Thanks a million to all the venues and to all the guys we chatted to tonight. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.